Okay, so before we start, I'll be putting the meeting host will be putting everybody on mute. So if you have any other questions, you can have them at the end of the session, and you can type them, and we'll go over these questions one by one, so that everybody can hear the speakers very clearly. So as the time has arrived for the start of the session, I would like to welcome all of you to today's session and thank all of you guys for registering and taking your time out to hear from us. Before I begin, I'll give a very brief introduction of Scholar and my project, which is Scholar Lady Circle. So for those of you who do not know what Scholar and Scholar Lady Circle is, and then that will be followed by a small introduction of Chadari project by Shweta. Scholar basically is a youth leadership-based initiative aimed at the youngsters from the SCO region. Right now we have 8 member countries, and all of the events that Scholar organizes, they are aimed at giving power to the leaders of tomorrow. And majority of the events that we do under Scholar are under 2 categories. One is thought leaders, which has projects like trainings or discussion club, or my project, which is the Lady Circle. And then we have deep dive sessions, the second category, in which we go to organizations and see firsthand what the functioning of those organizations are, or we visit another province. I'm responsible for in Scholar is the Lady Circle. Basically, I took up this initiative last year, and it is aimed at giving voice and improving the leadership potential of the female of the 21st century. And again, in Lady Circle, we have events along 2 formats. The first format is just like this, in which inspirational ladies, they come forward and they share their stories so that other people can also learn from their stories. And the second one is a bit more internal sort of event, in which all of the Scholar ladies, the members which belong to Scholar, they sit together, they brainstorm over ideas of the new events, or they share their problems with each other. It's like a support group. And we have another session coming up like that in the future. So today we are doing the episode 1, in which the Afghani women will be sharing their stories. The episode 2 hopefully will be regarding the Nepalese entrepreneurs, the female entrepreneurs. We are working on that currently. So if you guys are interested, please wait along, and then we'll be organizing the next event for you guys as well. So now I would like to give the floor to Shweta to give a small introduction of her project, which is Chadari project, and then she'll be introducing the speakers for today. Shweta.
Yeah, thank you, Khola. So hello, everyone. I'm really excited for today's event, and I can see we have participants from around the world. So thank you so much for joining, and for, especially for those. And I know it's a bit difficult because it's Ramadan and people also are fasting, and it's also like close to the iftar. So thank you so much. We really appreciate your time. And so my name is Sveta, and I am from. Obviously, I'm from Afghanistan, and I am the founder of Chadari project. So basically, this project is a storytelling platform that gives the opportunity for the Afghan women to express their thoughts, their opinions about various issues, and gives them the opportunity to talk about different things. So the first set of stories that we are collecting right now is the stories around the COVID-19, which is a very important issue nowadays. And another part of the project is having the events, and this is the first event of Chadari project, which is again exciting. And so the next event will be about the Afghan peace process, the Afghan women's participation in the Afghan peace process. So I will share all the details in the chat box about the project with you, so you can learn more about it. And if you're interested, you can attend the future events as well. And so we are also raising funds for the people in need in Afghanistan, especially now that it is COVID-19 and it's also Ramadan. We already did the first part of it last week, helping 15 families. And so we are still continuing doing this, and we hope to help more families by the end of Ramadan, and also to help them to prepare for it. So so again, I'll share all the details, all the social media platforms of Chadari, so that you will learn more about it. And so before we start, and before I introduce the speakers, I would like to video. A video which shows Kabul, like the situation of Kabul right now and the lockdown, so you can see how it looks like right now. So let me share my screen. Yeah, so that's how Kabul looks right now under the lockdown, and yeah, so let me introduce our first speaker. Our first speaker is Asma Ghazi, who is doing her master's in international relations in China Foreign Affairs University in Beijing, China, and she's also event manager at Beehive, an NGO in Beijing, and currently she's in Kabul. So let us hear her wonderful story.
Hi everyone, I hope everyone is safe and sound from the coronavirus. And I'm live with you all from Kabul city, Afghanistan. And we all know how we are all in quarantine now, and the COVID-19, that a tragedy that shake the world by its damage to people and economy, migration. But on the other hand, an opportunity to recharge our brain by learning new skills, and also by our souls to do meditation and be and I came back for holidays on 26th December on 2019. I thought it's just a holiday before the pandemic. And I worked there in the Australian youth community as a volunteer, and also in Beehive, non-profit organization, as an event manager. And I thought I just came to my country for 1 month holiday and do research. But as we all know, the coronavirus spread the world, and I couldn't go back to Beijing to continue my study, but I did my MA research in my country, But as an Afghan girl and as an international relations student, it was really hard for me to do my research in such situation that here was an election crisis in Afghanistan, as well the negotiation with the Taliban was in the process, and the situation was very stressful. But in such a situation, we can acceptance is really freedom in such a situation. And I continued my research to do, and my research was also about the Taliban and peace process in Afghanistan. That was really hard for me, and it was not also successful and also not unsuccessful. So we was between hope and hopelessness in our country. And at this time, I heard also about China from the news that the coronavirus was spread in China, and also it was really sad. It was really sad for me because in China I learned how to be such a diverse with the people, and there was amazing people in China, and China taught me how to embrace each other in such a diversity. And the university I studied, the Chinese professor taught me how to see the world from a worldwide view, and how to work for a community that the shared future for mankind. And also at the same time, I finished my research, and at 31st of March was the deadline, and I finished with full of passion. And from my perspective, at this time, the COVID-19 or quarantine, it's the best time to polish our minds. Along my studies, I decided to learn coding at this time, because it was my wish to learn coding and a new language along the other language that I know, that is German, Turkish, and Arabic, and other language that I knew. I was really interested to learn coding as well. And whatever it was, coding from the website, or coding to make connection with each other. And also on 4th of April, it was 4th of April that I opened YouTube to see a video from TEDx Talks, that always TEDx Talks videos inspire me somehow. And it's all good experience from around the globe. And for me, coding was a new world of different language that needs more time to learn. And quarantine time was really good time for me to learn how to code. And also on TEDx Talks, I saw a video that there was a video by Josh Kaufman that is, he said that in just 20 hours we can learn any new skills we wish for. And I downloaded the application also before in my mobile by Mimo. That's we can learn how to make website by our own, and we don't need to pay for people to make for our project and a website, and that's how it works. And I saw that video that really inspired me, and I was wish for learning coding. And I said that yeah, it's a good time just for 20 hours if I can learn this skill, so it can be coding that I always wish for. And also then I called one of my friends from Brazil. I called and I said to her that it's a good time to learn coding, and she is also a web developer. So she said that okay, let's make a language, and we coded alphabet, because our common language is English, that we can contact between each other. And we coded the alphabet, English and for alphabet, and made for each other a language that we can communicate with each other. And during this time, it was really fun and really fresh our minds and this work. And we was successfully just for 20 hours to code the alphabet and make connection with each other. So we also decided to expand this, that other people can also use this. So we are trying to make an application that every people can use that and make connection just through the numbers. We can make connection with each other. And also I started to write my diary every day by numbers, and it was really fun for me. And also I reached to my unfulfilled dream to learn coding and even make a connection with my friends and with my family. And we also want to expand this. And through the website coding, I also learned just for 20 hours to how to make a website, and it is really amazing if you also want to try during the current time, and we have more time to do this. And for the one who have nothing to know about the coding, it's really exciting to know this just for 20 hours. And we decided also to make a website, and it's also my new project to by the name of Decoded Minds, to make a website that everyone can use, that even the one who don't know anything about the computer, that they can know how to code and how to learn the language of computer. And from my perspective, we all have time. Every day is a new day to learn something, to reach to our unfulfilled dream. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for sharing your story. That's very powerful, and I think the meeting time here ends. So please, everyone, in the chat box there is a Zoom ID. Please copy it, and then we'll enter a new Zoom room, and then we can like continue discussion there and hear from the other speakers. Thank you again for sharing. So our second speaker is Malali Popalzai, who is a monitoring and evaluation officer at American Afghanistan Friendship Foundation, and she is also studying economics, and she lives in Mazar Sharif. Yes.
Hello everyone, I hope everyone is doing well and staying safe at home. So this is Malali Popalzai. I'm from Afghanistan, and currently I'm talking from the north region of Afghanistan, Mazar Sharif. Since at the first, thank you so much, Sweta and Khola, for giving me this chance to talk about my journey, and also a little bit about the coronavirus and the situation that's happening nowadays in my country and also the world. So thank you so much. Since when I remember that the Kabul and nowadays, from comparing 10 years ago, it's really totally changed nowadays. So when I finished my high school from Kabul, and when I come back to Mazar Sharif, the situation was totally different, and I faced a lot of problems during my journey in 10 years from now and back 10 years ago. So I see myself as a successful woman now, and I'm working as a monitoring and evaluation officer with the American Afghanistan Friendship Foundation. Also, I'm working Woman Strong and also Every Woman Treaty. And also, I'm the person who has founded the Early Marriage Prevention Program in my community. So I'm working on that project also. When especially I'm working in girls' rights and women's rights issues. When I start to join with the WWF organization as a monitoring evaluation officer, when I go to villages and faraway districts, I notice like how much women and girls need to know about their basic rights, about their the little things like we should know about who we are and what we're gonna do, and also they at least didn't know about their meaning of their name. You know, it's really strange. When I go to Chamtal and also faraway districts for my job, and it's quite dangerous also, but I face many cases like the girls are forcing to get married, the older men of their age. So it's really hurtful. Like we should do something for our community, for girls and for women. This issue and women's rights and girls' rights, it's more happening to me. Like it feels me like to be more passionate and to be more motivated to work on girls' rights. At least, and I initiated a program. A man has a partner in change in my community. Especially, I noticed like okay that girls they didn't know about their rights. So their fathers should know about, their parents should know about their rights. So they're the first people who is responsible and who can tell them about their rights, how to live, who are you, what's your right, and you have rights to choose your spouse and your own idea, and you should be educated and you should go to school. Our parents are the first leaders. So we initiated a program, Men has a Partner in Change, in my office, and we just trained more than 100 fathers and especially parents to work on it, and I'm very happy that our program is now successful. And a part of my job, I'm working as a Woman Strong, and we work as a partner of donation, and we make donations for needy people and around the world, not only in Afghanistan. As we all know that Afghanistan is the most needy countries in the world, as we are located in the third world countries. So after coming back from Poland, and let me share my Poland journey and Europe journey, comparing with Afghanistan. When I selected as the only one student from Mazar-e Sharif in Erasmus scholarship, it was, I cannot say like, it was very happy moment, and it was very honor moment for me to go to Poland for this scholarship and to meet new community, new people around the world, and to live such a life in Europe. It was like I didn't know anything in the Europe life, and how they're living, and what's their culture, and the education system, and their rights, and women and men, all the things. It was new for me. And after spending 6 months in Poland, when I come back to my community, I noticed like, okay, we should stand up, and we should take action, and we should do something for our girls, for our community. Then I start to work on my project, on my own project, early marriage, to stop early marriage in 3 districts, and especially in Mazar-e Sharif, Samangan, and Jawzjan. And suddenly, when I was continuing my project and a part of my education, and also I was planning a big and for my community. And now, because of the coronavirus, everyone is witnessed, like because of the coronavirus, we already lost a lot of people around the world, and it makes me feel like I'm very sad about this. I personally suffering from this situation, especially in Afghanistan. We're losing our lives, our people's life in here. So nowadays, when I notice like it's happening, I feel like it's affected on my mental health. When I notice like it's affecting on my health, what should I do now? This coronavirus is such a pandemic virus, and we should take care about our community and our people, especially our family. We should get them know about the basic information. We should not go out and stop everything. And nowadays, I'm working from home, and I'm learning my courses online, and my studies are online nowadays. So suddenly it comes in my mind, I should change myself. I should make a plan or to stay at home and to continue my my project. And I did make a group on WhatsApp and for my students in villages, and I start learning them about the basic information about the coronavirus. And I tell them online, if they have a WhatsApp number, or if they don't have a WhatsApp number, I directly call their parents about this. So this is the life of Mazar-e Sharif, and a girl living in Mazar-e Sharif and facing such a situation in here. And thank you so much for letting me talk about the basic things in Mazar-e Sharif. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Malali, for sharing your wonderful story and hearing all the amazing work that you're doing for the country. I think a lot of people can relate the stories that you shared, especially your experience living in Poland, and then which make you more patriotic, and then you want to come and like change the situation in the country by doing the great work that you're doing through different programs, such as the early marriage program, which is very wonderful. And so the next speaker is Farzana Ahmadi, who is a program coordinator for the Afghan Women and Welfare Development Association. And she is also a senior BBA student at the American University of Afghanistan, and who will be speaking from Kabul.
Okay. Hello, everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening to you all, as we're coming from different countries in the session. I'm really pleased to be among you all here, and I hope you're all doing good and you're safe. So, as John mentioned, I'm Farzana Ahmadi, a senior BBA student at American University of Foreign Development at Afghanistan Holding Group, a leading private company in business sector of Afghanistan. As we all are going through a global pandemic, it is a great initiative by the Chadari founder Sweta Jan and her amazing team that could gather us all in this session. I'd like to warmly thank her and her amazing team for conducting this session. In 2016, I started my university in Kabul University, engineering faculty. At the same time, I started my undergraduate program through U.S. Embassy full scholarship at American University of Afghanistan. So between them, because engineering was a full-time course and also AUF was like that, so I had to choose one of them to attend my university and study my undergraduate studies. So I decided to choose AUF, hopefully by the Taliban, which caused the university to shut down for like 7 months, more than 7 months. So I used this time to do a job, and then finally we could the university could manage to start the studies in 2017. So now in 2020, it was my last semester that COVID-19 happened, and now I'm doing my job online and university also online. Before the pandemic, I started to with my friend Hila Yoon to establish Afghan Women Welfare and Development Association. So now I'm doing my job online and also attending my classes online, and meanwhile working for Auda as well online. So I believe everyone is going through challenging times. And due to this global pandemic, unfortunately, women are impacted more, according to the publications, reports, and international news. That unfortunately, the rate of domestic abuse of women have increased due to this lockdown as well. The rate is even more severe for Afghanistan, as the country is having a high. COVID-19 affected the lives of Afghan families widely, and many families are not having a source of income, nor they have the saving to use. So the rate of violence against women can be dramatically high, unfortunately. There are different cases of abuses, which I hope ends someday sooner. For Afghanistan, COVID-19 is really challenging, as Afghanistan has been politically and economically vulnerable due to many internal and external factors. And the recent conflicts among the candidates of the presidency of Afghanistan at the beginning of 2020 made it more challenging immediately widely impacting result was the decrease of USA's $1 billion aid. And the recent pandemic of coronavirus pushed Afghanistan dramatically to a more like a challenging situation because of the poor health service. People are not able hospitals with quality services, especially in provinces. And the impact of coronavirus people, especially Afghan women. For example, the pregnant women with health difficulties as a result of their living conditions, menstrual cycle, and continuous births are hugely impacted, because these health difficulties significantly decrease the human body's immune system, and in return, it is estimated that the with also again Afghanistan's government and non-governmental offices, schools, universities, and many small enterprises such as clothing shops in lockdown, we disturbed the economic lives of Afghan people as well, and directed the unemployment rate very high. On the other hand, Afghanistan was looking forward to a meaningful peace process that could with the Taliban. The COVID-19 resulted in the peace delay with the Taliban, and this prevented Afghanistan security control of Taliban. The Taliban are continuing to create security problems in the communities. Even recently, there are cases by the Taliban as well. What I want to elaborate here is that this war broadly affects the living conditions of women in Afghanistan, and causes violence such as religious courts, forced and child marriages, sexual abuses, physical tortures, and even killings. But sadly, women in those areas are unable to avoid the war, since they have no other place to. The Taliban rules many districts. Also, this COVID-19 affected the education of Afghan people in all over Afghanistan, and the majority of schools and university students do not have access to the internet, laptop, email, and online of their poor economic condition. For example, right now, Kabul University, which has the largest number of students enrolled, they have not successfully started its spring semester to have online sessions so far, which is located in the capital of the country as well. In many areas, if the internet access is available, only males are privileged culturally to have a phone, SIM card, and a laptop to use, while females to electronic world from their homes, which is very challenging to get it started at the moment. So unfortunately, the overall situation of Afghanistan, talking from the marginal areas and provinces of Afghanistan, and talking from the broader perspective and Afghan women, as part of the coping strategies with this virus that caused many delays and many lockdowns, I could say that we have to study about the virus, the way it spreads, and how to avoid the spread, and how other countries approached. And what we should do is not to wait for the virus, because it takes at least 18 months to get it done, and we have to minimize the causes by boosting our immune system, taking care of elders, and try to adopt positively with the new life. But we in this group, as independent, strong Afghan ladies, have to do many things for the there are many NGOs, including like different with the current situation, with coping with the current situation, of course. I can give also an example of Afghan Women Welfare and Development Association, which closely work with many other civil society organizations to help women and a broader group of people in this global pandemic. We raised funds through our organization to provide masks, gloves, vitamin C, soaps, hand washing liquids for women in marginal areas of Kabul who seem to be very vulnerable to this virus. Also, we provided some food supplements for needy families. It is very important that people should have something to eat to survive, because hungry stomachs makes the angry people. Many online sessions talking about the impact of COVID-19 on women, Afghan peace process from gender perspective, and role of women in the peace talks by including them significantly in the national process. We also launched a Peace Builders Club where girls of high school students, university students, and everyone can gather and sharing with others as other. I believe our friends, we felt better and lighter. If each of us do a single thing in this regard, our country, and especially for women. We have at the end, I would like to mention that because of the domestic abuses that we live currently in those who live in Kabul, sometimes it has been the case that the sounds, the fights and the noises, we have heard that. I would like to mention a point in regarding this, that please try to have a checkup and through calls, through talking, try to share things and try to reach out to those women or to those girls and talk with them and see what do they have to say. And of course, we can use the Chadari project to publish the stories as well, which is a very great initiative by Switajan. Thank you all. If you have any questions, so we can have it at the end. I think we have a Q&A session, Switajan, right?
Yes, Farzana, thank you so much for your great talk. You talked about the challenges again that the Afghanistan is facing with the peace process, and how the COVID-19 has worsened the situation and has become more difficult again for the women, especially increasing the rate of domestic violence and other issues. And I'm really glad that your organization, the AWWDA, is doing a great work of distributing and taking action in distributing the gloves and masks and being proactive and doing its part. And I'm also happy to hear that actually a lot of people didn't know this maybe, but in Afghanistan actually people are studying online and they are working from home. So this is a great thing, right? This just like the rest of the world, and this is something that people don't know usually. That you are actually having online classes, which is amazing, right? So you're not going behind. And so our next speaker is Farzana Ahmadi, who is a Master's of Public Policy student at the University of Missouri, the US. And she is also the co-founder of the Global Youth Development Initiative. And she will be speaking from Chicago, US.
Hello, everyone. Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. Thank you so much, Svitajan, and it's really a great pleasure to be talking with every one of you right now, where we are in a time that talking to one another is the most calming, deliberate, and it's needed more than ever to discuss and share our emotions. And having heard the stories of amazing women from different places, it's just so insightful and so enlightening to see how everyone has been trying to cope with the current difficult situation despite the challenges that they have been facing with all the facilities that are available right now and with the difficult conditions that we are being faced with. as you guys know from the news, the US has like the highest COVID-19 cases, unfortunately, in the entire world, that it has already passed 1.13 million people. And we see so many people, they have lost their lives, unfortunately and sadly. And I mean, it's just like, you can imagine that when a country is being struck by a disease or a pandemic with, I mean, so suddenly and so rapidly, that it's so difficult for a country to even adjust with it politically and economically. It has been affecting the lives of everyone who are like currently staying in the US. And starting from early March, when like the cases started to really increase in the US, the first preventive measure that, of course, like most of the places took, was to cancel all the schools and universities. And as Vika John mentioned, I'm here on a Fulbright scholarship. So like the first thing that when we were hearing about our schools getting canceled, our universities getting canceled, it was like extremely stressful to hear about it. And because like I'm here just for 2 years, and having heard the news on media that it's going to be, the pandemic is, I mean, the stress and everything that's going on is going to be continuing for 18 months. It was like really stressful for me to find out that my school is like canceled. But then luckily, the good thing was that like shortly after 10 days, they resumed the classes online, and I did not have to like face a delay in my studies. But still, like, since when you're on a scholarship, and like Fulbright scholarship is mostly about networking and about building on our leadership potential and skills, since like Fulbright is offering so many development seminars, all of that is like just cancelled. And you see such a sudden change in everything that you have planned for. So it's just like the effect of it, both mentally and like on education, you can face it, and you can like see it, that how like everyone else, it's affecting you individually as well. I mean, with all that, there were other tensions raising in the US over food items running out, and everyone was just like running to the markets and like buying everything that was available over there. And I mean, it was just, for me, it was really sad to see a world which is like, I mean, like, to see a place which is so peaceful, where everyone is so understanding, and a place where like we always discuss it as an example of like humanity, and then as an example of civilization. But then when you see that how the world is being struck by a tension like that, and then just everyone is kind of like in a struggle for survival, for like very basic needs, like they're struggling to have like enough of all these items, food items, and you see the tension being raising among people. So it's just like so stressful that it really not only affects like how you're going ahead with your life, but also it really affects your mental stability as an individual. And like, if you're, for example, living with your families, to get to see like an economic crisis hit the country, while like many people are not going to have access to the basic items that they're needing. Aside from that, like my internship that I had planned in summer in DC, it was canceled, but luckily I was able to like find an alternative to do a remote internship. And I have been trying to cope with this, like just to cope with the situation. Oh, I think it was just a message from one of our participants. She just joined in, I guess. And I'm sorry, guys, I was just like reading a message from one of the participants. And having like staying at home the entire time, I tried to like kind of find out ways for me to cope with this situation. And I was like, I was never a workout person, but like then I started working out and doing yoga at home like every day, and like really sticking to it constantly, because I was like, this is the time where we have to really embrace ourselves, and like this is the time that we have to invest on ourselves to grow as persons, like be it health-wise, be it our educational-wise, and I mean, like, and build on, of course, our relationships with everyone. So like, I have been doing these yoga sessions all the time. I have set like the limit of reading more than 30 books each 2 months. So these are some of the ways like I have been trying to cope with the situation, and with the extra time I have been trying to stay in touch with our alumni from the Young Women Leadership Conference, which is like one of the projects I'm the co-founder for. I mean, aside from all of that, we know that like even in the US there are like so many pre-existing inequalities where like it's exposing social vulnerabilities, political and economic vulnerabilities for women, and like especially for women of color who are like either from Asian countries or who are like from or who Black women. And you see how like when a pandemic is like hitting a country that's like having a huge number of immigrants, that's having a huge number of women in color, and like overall it's just like kind of igniting those pre-existing inequalities. And like, I mean, you is being a great example of gender equality, but like right now women are being hit more than men by the current situation, because like the domestic violence has increased a lot. And I was like reading an article the other day about how the domestic violence hotlines has increased like 47%. I mean, it's a huge, it has almost like doubled to see that the calls that were received by the social workers, and it has like almost doubled, and to see that women are being faced with domestic violence and all these family issues. And it's because like everyone is staying at home, people are getting jobless, they are like facing a serious tension over survival. And I mean, it's something that has never been repeated before. It's something like so unusual, and it's just like kind of really heartbreaking to see that aside from having the tension over the fact that everyone is being affected by the current pandemic, but to see women being affected by it more, and to see how like these decades we have been trying to like, I mean, these countries have been trying to really build on the gender equality and kind of build on the women empowerment, but you see that a pandemic comes and it's kind of like taking us back to like few decades that where all those tensions are ignited. And I mean, something that was really upsetting me was that like the current policies in the US, it has really reduced women's health services and like their access to health services. We know that women need special health services for their reproductive system, for their menstrual I mean, products and everything that's needed. But we see that the current policies that are being made for the health services that are provided, they're not like prioritizing women in those health services. And women have to like, the percentage of women that are giving birth to their child has like at homes has increased a lot. And of course it comes up with like many risks of their kids not being able to be checked, and there is like a high risk of being in the hospital in a time where the hospitals are all overlined by the coronavirus patients. And I mean, it same goes that when it comes to the job security for women in the US, mostly the cash workers in these supermarkets or in restaurants, I mean, like the more informal sector that's being run by women that are working for cash. And those were the ones that were shut, like the first industries that were shut. And having seen women that they're not having a lot of savings, and that they're not having enough money and means to support their daily life, to pay the loans for their like insurance companies or for like their homes, and you see like they're suddenly facing a very huge financial crisis. So it's definitely adding to the stress and tension that women are having with the pandemic. I mean, like, I really want to emphasize the fact that as women who we can like speak for ourselves, and we just have to be like always aware of the fact that we need to speak for ourselves and for others no matter what, and continue with the great work we have been, all of you and like we have been doing together to empower women, because this is a time where we need each other the most, because we are the ones who have to remind the world that we still need to prioritize women no matter what sector and what policies we are considering. They have to be like a top priority no matter what policies are being made, if it's their health policies, if it's the economic policies, and if it is the services that are being provided to prevent women from facing domestic violence. And I guess it's just the best, I mean, to wrap it up, it's just the best time to focus on ourselves and really start building on our skills, and of course encourage the productive sharing of our feelings with one another, be aware of each other's needs, embrace the change of pace with gratitude, and really balance our our personal life and everything, because this is the only time that we have like the most time to really focus on our lives, stay in touch with our loved ones, and of course support those who are in need. And I guess like we have just less than a minute left for this call, and the meeting ID is shared in the chat group. So I guess we should join the new meeting using that ID. And it was really amazing talking to you guys. If you have any questions, you can of course address it at the end. And let's pray that we just get out of this situation really soon.
Yes, so sorry everyone for the inconvenience. Please copy the new meeting ID. Again, apologize for all the inconvenience. And you can copy this and then see you in the next Zoom room. And thank you so much, Sana, for sharing your wonderful story from the US and about facing the problems. And again, being positive, staying positive, and developing new habits such as working out or like helping each other out. These are the great things that we can do in this moment, is support each other and give opportunities and help each other. Yeah. Okay, everyone, please copy the link and see you in a minute, in less than a minute. Yes, technology can be very, very powerful and can connect us from around the world, but it also can create us a lot of problems, right? Technical problems, but that's okay, it happens.
So I would like to thank Chadari Project and SCOLAR Network for providing this platform where we can come together and talk this very important topic, COVID-19, and how we're actually coping with this issue. As Sweet John introduced me, I'm an Afghan. And since we came up from all around the world, I just want to give you a little bit insight about Afghan people and the life of Afghans, especially those who left Afghanistan. So to begin with, I would like to describe Afghans. How shall I describe them? Maybe through 3 words: broken yet hopeful. Why broken? Decades of war has a vast effect on them. But still, it did not take away hope from their hearts, despite of many challenges, such as lack of united leaders to maintain security, pursuing peace process, and now addressing COVID-19. People learned to live life as it is. Currently, the population of Afghanistan is 38.92 million, based on the projections of United Nations. According to UNHCR, there are almost 2.5 million refugees registered from Afghanistan. They comprise the 2nd largest refugee population in the whole world. Now, if you ask why people immigrate, the answer is simple. When government exists, but it cannot mitigate violence, when children have to go to school and their parents are letting them to go, but with fear in their hearts, what if they will not be able to see their children again? What if a terrorist attack will happen on their way to school? A businessman may have a fear that he or someone from his family member may be kidnapped, and many other situations like this. Yet they stand up and continue their life because they have to survive, they have to
get education, they have to work, they have to grow and develop. But do their nightmares actually end when they leave their country and move to another? Unfortunately, no. They describe their lives as overcrowded, very dirty. They are literally sleeping on the ground, and this is happening in European Union. According to Human Rights Watch, they are denied access to adequate medical service, education, abused, and mistreated by police, guards, and other detainees, and unable to seek asylum. So I would say that this actually creates new traumas or exacerbate previous ones. According to my experience in Russia, it is better for you to know the language. If you do not know the language, then you will be criticized, discriminated, or abused. It's been several years that my family live here, and knowing completely the language, attending Russian school, respecting veterans, and also honoring culture and values is not enough, since you will still be discriminated. You can seldom face mistreatment with other nationalities. That is why you can face racism as well. Sadly, the voice of racist people ends up being louder. For example, when I took the house I currently live, which is new, in the elevator all over the place it was written "Смерть черным," which means death to black. Since it is a new house, people here who are workers who do the repair work, and people hire Tajik people who take less money and do the job. That is why that note is referred for Asian type of people. It is not referred to actually African people, rather than Muslims who have darker skin color, basically looking like me. So on the other hand, you cannot actually also get the work that you really like, prestigious, let's say, or like the one that you want to work where. So basically the preference again goes to their nationalities as well. Here I would like to make a note that not all Russians are like this. There are good among them, but in the majority of situations that we're facing, out of from the scale from 1 to 10, I will say that in the number of 6 or 7, we as an Afghan, Tajik community, Uzbek, Muslim community are going through these difficulties. Now, despite all of these obstacles, COVID-19 hit the surface of the world. In case of Russia, it continues to see daily rise of new coronavirus infections. President Putin has declared quarantine until May 11. And we have also been word of another spike in COVID-19 cases after the early May public holidays if people ignore lockdown measures. Now, speaking about preventive measures, it is not allowed for us here to go out, either if you need actually to go to grocery shop or pharmacy, that's okay, but you have to obtain a pass if you're going away from 100 meters from your house. Unfortunately, this made those people's life difficult who do not have government support, who are the breadwinners for the family. But if some have, I have witnessed from the window of my room that people are actually looking for food or something to eat inside the garbage. They are doing it either early in the morning or late at night where there are less people. I would like to mention one of my favorite quotes from Isaac William Kenyon, who said, "Faith talks in the language of God. Doubt talks in the language of man." When there is a doubt that vaccine may not come soon, it's better for us to have faith and to take this advantage of the most precious thing that we have right now, time. But before, it is also important to set our minds positively. Negativity will destroy not only you, but anyone who is around you. So that is why I care for my family. I love them and I want to keep them happy and healthy. That's why since the beginning of the quarantine, I have turned my mini house into a kindergarten where I am the cook, I am the teacher, I am the cleaner. I have set targets for them to teach them Quran Kareem, English alphabet, numbers, and of course we have entertainment. I downloaded amusing games to teach children certain things I know that is beneficial for them, so they know about it. And also we have some games of I have involved arts in it, where they have some sessions of drawing, crafts from plasticine or paper, which is good. And very importantly, I have engaged them in gym classes so they can stay fit and also get a habit to exercise, which is very important nowadays because staying at home means you're eating, and eating. For the question, how do we spend quality time with our family? We have there are plenty of games we play, but among them there are very interesting ones, very simple, which is Uno and Mafia. Anyone can actually create this game. YouTube is a very useful source from which you can learn how to create such kind of games and play and enjoy with your family. Nonetheless, I get myself busy with reading books, praying, attending online courses, and working on my potential project, which I hope it will turn out very, very well. Furthermore, if there is nothing to play or to watch, get busy myself with my family, just chatting, remembering sweet memories from our past, and funny ones to laugh at it. If you do not have anyone to talk to, you can call your family or friend to talk to and refresh those good memories and to give you good vibe and to make you stronger and believe that it will end soon. I can also recommend you to seize this opportunity to develop yourself. This is the best time not only to spend with your family, but to invest in yourself. There are plenty of courses you can find online for free. You just have to Google it, and there you are, enroll. Get the knowledge, it's there. To sum up, if you're healthy, that is the wealth you have. Since you can reach your goals, you can have the life you want. Without good health, it may remain a dream for you. Therefore, treat it as a treasury, since nowadays there is a chance to lose it too. Such, wash your hands, wear a mask when going out, and be patient with preventive measures to avoid COVID, since I have witnessed there are people who are being really careless, which is not welcome at this time. Pray that Allah bring prosperity and peace to our country and to a whole world, so that no one will be obliged to leave their country. I would like to also remind that this is Ramadan month. It is time for you to give zakat. Remember, zakat not only benefits giver, but it also benefits receiver. You may also share the meal from WFP. It's a very reliable and exact source where you can share the meal, and it will be benefit those vulnerable people during COVID-19 as well. There are also many other ways from which you can help those who are in need, such as donating, raising awareness through family and friends, and letting them how they can help during the quarantine as well. May Allah help us all. Thank you very much. If you have any questions, I will be happy to answer. Thank you.
Thank you, Shugofa Jan, for a wonderful story, and I really enjoyed hearing that you turned your house into like kindergarten. That's a great thing.
You have to do something,
Yeah, that's amazing, and and thank you so much for sharing your story. Even a lot of challenges, but again, nothing is 100% negative in our lives, right? There's always positivity. There's always positive. and I can see that you're a very like positive person, and you can try to use this opportunity to, as you say, develop yourself, be helpful for others. So this is great, and thank you again for sharing your powerful story with us. And I think now it's a time for Q&A, so you can ask any questions from any. You can put it in the chat box, so that we know who is going to ask question, and then ask your questions from any of the speakers. I've also included, and Khola also included, our organization's social media, so you can go and learn more and follow us and support us. And if you want like more of this kind of community building event and everything, so Q&A session. So any questions?
If you have any question, you can type it, and then we'll go over the questions. You can even ask the questions to the organizers, to Shweta or to me, and we'll be happy to answer your questions. And if there are no questions, then you can follow our official pages on Instagram, Facebook, and WeChat. So Shweta, I think I'm sure. Bahara, you can also unmute yourself.
Thank you so much. Hi everyone, this is Bahara Hussaini, and I'm also an alumni of AEF. First of all, I would like to thank Sveta Jan and her amazing team for providing us this amazing opportunity to hear from my friends, Sana Jan, Farzana, and also Shugofa. I think we don't know each other. I may have seen you, Shugofa Jan, but I didn't have the chance even to talk to you. So it was really, really amazing. I mean, hearing from you that how tough it is being in another country and facing lots of challenges beside this pandemic. I am so impressed by the way you're trying to overcome all the mentioned challenges, and it was so interesting that you are working and you're making fun with the children, and I really wanted to know how many children are there in your home.
Yeah, I'm so sorry for the distractions.
It's all right. And also from Sana, and it was really good to hear from Sana Jan and the way that she is overcoming all the challenges in USA. I know it is hard. In Afghanistan as well, we are facing challenges working from home, and all the negative news that we hear every time, and the cases are increasing. So we are working from home, net is not working, and sometimes we don't have electricity. So yeah, they're all the problems. That the best way is that we have to cope this problem with each other, and it really made my day today, because I was really stressed. I worked the whole day, and I didn't even have the patient to join the meeting, but because of the speakers, I was interested that let's see and let's see them and let's hear from them. So to sum up, it was a comment, and it was really great. And again, I would like to thank everyone who took part here, speakers, organizers. It was great. Thank you so much. And
Thank
please
you,
stay
Bahara
safe
Jan.
and take care of yourself.
Hi everyone, can I ask a question? Are you sure? I think.
Sure. Yeah.
Sure. Go ahead.
Okay. So hi everyone once again. My name is Mafzuna. I'm originally, I was born in Tajikistan, but I grew up in Russia. So if you girls can say something, I think I can understand you a little bit. But unfortunately, as I grew up, I forgot Tajik. So, but like, I can do the basic stuff. Anyways, I'm also a PhD student in Beijing Foreign Studies University. I think I cannot see the lady Asma. I think it was Asma, right?
Yeah, she's there. She's here.
Okay, she's here. Okay. Oh, Asma, hi. So, like, my question is, I'm also as a sociologist, I'm a little bit curious about certain things, and I'm also as a kind of girl from the same background as you, maybe a little bit, also wondering on a, certain private things that might be interesting for all of us to discuss, maybe just an idea, right? As a Muslim girl, how are you perceived from your relatives, from your peers, for example, as you are continuing studying? I'm pretty sure there are a lot of questions on about like your personal life, your ideas, your visions of certain things that are, or one ways are pretty biased, right? I think if we are not naming names as they are, I think I'm clear. If not, just say something. I will try to be more clear. So, like, my question is, like, how do you guys answer the questions where people get on the private part of your life? Like, as they come up, something they can. I'm pretty sure, for example, if you are living in US or you are studying in Beijing and you are meeting so many people, so from different backgrounds, they are always curious about Afghan women because there's certain bias, there's certain stereotypes. So how do you perceive these questions, and how do you get out of them, if there is a way of getting out of it? This is my question. Thank you.
Asma, I think you're on mute.
Oh yeah, I'm here. Sorry, because of the internet interruption, I couldn't hear the whole.
I'll just point out that it was a question for everyone who were in our meeting today. It's not only for Asma. It was also for like as you girls who are telling us all the stories about your life, about your situations right now. Like, it just like opportunity for share your vision on it. It was my question in general, not for Asma only.
Oh yeah, if you can especially mention your question again, sorry, because of the internet interruption.
Okay, so I will maybe try to say it a little bit slower. Sometimes I get this quick, say it fast, very fast. So my question is, people, there's a lot of bias, there's a lot of stereotypes, especially, for example, I'm also speaking from my own experience. People usually come up to me and say like, oh, you're a Muslim girl, oh, you're from Tajikistan, or you are this and that, like, but you're from Russia, you don't look like certain ways, you don't perceive, you don't act certain ways. So like, how do you girls answer these questions? How do you perceive these questions, and what is your opinion on the people entering your personal space, asking you kind of a personal or sometimes stereotypical questions to ask Afghan women?
Yeah, I can answer your question that if I have been to this kind of situation, I can answer that before everything, we are all humans, before our religious thoughts and our gender and anything else. We are human and we work for each other. We are created for each other, to help each other, to embrace each other. So it doesn't matter from which religion we are, from which country we are, or from which language we are talking about. So before all, we are humans. We have to work for each other, to embrace each other, and to help for each other.
I would like to say something. Mavzunajan, is that, did I pronounce it right?
Yes, but in Tajikistan, I would go as a Mavzuna or Mavzuna Khan.
Okay.
It's different.
Okay, so I really loved your question. Actually, I was going through that every time whenever people reached me, they were actually asking this question from me. So basically, wherever you live, my answer is wherever you live, you're getting something from that community, from that country, beneficial, and that is will be inherited inside of you, which I think creates your character, your personality, and which makes you unique from others. Talking about me, I lived in Russia. I've got something from Russian community. Then I moved to my own country, where I'm from. And it's like a mix of everything. Some people are telling me that in Afghanistan, you do not like Afghan, your way, your behavior is different. Of course, it's appropriate, but not to some extent appropriate that you have to wear a scarf, for instance, and so that kind of minor things. Well, in Russia, over here, they're not looking at you that you're their own, because I've spent here almost whole of my life. And then when I came here just to visit my family, they're looking at me as a stranger. That is kind of really, sad for me to face, but it's okay. It's like moving on with that. So going back, I would like to say that whoever you're are right now, you're basically, as I said, you're getting something from that place, which creates your personality. And then people should respect who you are, no matter what's your background, your nationality, or religion. You're a good person by nature. That's my belief. Human people are really nice if you do good to them. So if you do not do good stuff, situation will rise. Yeah.
And I quickly want to jump in just to say something really short. I mean, since in the US we know that with all the Islamophobia that's being promoted through media, I mean, it's really difficult to come from another country and then especially to be a Muslim. Of course, people are amazing here. There are so many people who are understanding and who are having really, they're respecting other religions a lot, but then you still face this question a lot, and especially as an Afghan girl, I mean, my name goes along with the name of Taliban whenever, even by my professors, whenever I talk about being from Afghanistan, the first thing they ask is oh, how is the situation with the Taliban? How is it to be a woman and live in a country where such extremists that are not accepted by the entire world live in, they are doing committing all these atrocities against women there. I mean, they kind of see you from a perspective that if you're coming from a country that's having such violent cultures with people like that, they kind of have, I think, that preconception that maybe that violence is kind of in you as well. And that's how Muslims are getting really attacked here sometimes. I believe when we are being asked by questions like that, it's always our responsibility to kind of redefine the realities in the definitions that are being set by the media. And even if I don't like the question, I mean, I always answer it with an open heart, and I always answer it very patiently, saying that of course none of us approve of all these atrocities being committed in by people who are using the name of Islam and by these extremists, but we are the example of all those strong women. We are the example of people who are actually standing for peace and who are not pro the violence and pro all these bad things that are happening with the name of Islam. So I guess it's just our responsibility to kind of redefine those definitions in those realities that are being portrayed in the media, and show them that we are the ones who have a lot of understanding and acceptance to other religions and to people from other races and ethnicities. And of course, there are so many amazing people around from different places, different backgrounds, that are so supportive and that have always been amazing. In the US, I have amazing friends that they share so much of the sorrow that we do for our people and for all the bad things that are happening around the world.
I am completely agree with you, Sana. And I would first of all say thank you for your amazing answers. It was pretty amazing to hear. As myself, I found I relate to your answers, and I think certain way I also relate to your experiences. And I'm also not sure if I'm pronouncing your name right. Shugofa and Sana, right?
Right.
Okay, so for Shugofa, I would like to say, like, I would be pretty open to discuss Russian experience from the other nationality, because I have certain tricks on how to look kind of the same, or like be mold in, you know, just like try to mold in just for a little while. And also what you said, Sana, is also relates to me personally. When there's like questions that I found racist, sexist, and etc., I first of all get very angry, and I always get in sort of a defensive mode, because like I want to defend everything like they're like attacking, right? But then again, I understand that at certain points it's our responsibility, as you said, to make them see the bigger picture, make them understand the bigger role, and see that like it's not all the stereotypes and bias. There's like people who stand out, and there are people who are pretty proud of their culture. And I think it's one of the amazing things, as we are like a group of people from Chadari and from SCOLAR Network are trying to do. We are trying to like promote the culture, conversation, discussion, so we will be able to get to know each other more, to share it with other people who might not be that open to our experiences, or just, in general, open-minded. So I would say just huge thank you, guys. It was amazing.
Thank you so much.